Imagine, for a moment, that you are not yourself. The world you know, the hum of your daily life, the weight of your choices, falls away like sand through your fingers. Instead, you are Awa, a young griot in the Mali Empire, in the year 1235, when Timbuktu's minarets gleam under a sun that never seems to tire. Your hands cradle a kora, a harp-like instrument with 21 strings that sing like the voices of your ancestors. Each pluck is a word, each note a memory, and you are its keeper. You are not a queen, nor a warrior, nor a scholar in the great University of Sankor, though you walk among them. You are a storyteller, a living archive of your people's history, and your voice carries the weight of centuries. But here's the truth they don't tell you when they place the kora in your hands: to speak the past is to serve, and to serve is to be silent about yourself. Your stories belong to the king, to the empire, to the griots who trained you. And yet, deep within you, there's a whisper, a tale of your own, clawing to be told. Be careful, Awa. In a city of gold and secrets, a single word can build an empire or burn it to ash. Your life begins at dawn, when the muezzin's call weaves through the mud brick houses of Timbuktu. You rise from a mat in the small courtyard of your master's home, the air already thick with the scent of dust and roasting millet. Your fingers are calloused from the kora strings, your feet bare against the cool earth. You are 18, but your eyes carry the weight of someone older, someone who has spent years memorizing the genealogies of kings, the battles of heroes, the songs of gods. As a griot, your role is sacred. You are the voice of the Mande people, the thread that stitches their past to their present. At feasts, you sing of Sundiata, the Lion King who founded the empire. At weddings, you chant the names of ancestors to bless the union. In the king's court, you recite the triumphs of Mansa Musa, whose pilgrimage to Mecca left trails of gold across the Sahara. Your words are not your own, but they are powerful. They shape how the empire sees itself. They remind the powerful of their place, and the lowly of their pride. But you are not like the other griots, the men who stride confidently into the king's hall, their robes billowing like sails. You are a woman, a rarity among the jealous, as griots are called. Your mother was a griot before you, a woman whose voice could hush a crowd, but she died when you were a child, leaving you to your master, Jeli Kaba, an old man with a tongue sharp as a dagger and a heart hardened by years of service. He saw something in you, a spark, a stubbornness, and chose to train you, though many whispered it was unnatural for a woman to carry the kora. Your voice is a tool. He tells you daily, his eyes like coals. Sharpen it, but do not wield it carelessly. You nod, you obey, you practice until your fingers bleed. But in the quiet of the night, when the city sleeps and the stars burn above, you wonder, what would happen if you told a story that was yours? Your days are a rhythm, a song in themselves. By morning, you practice in the courtyard, your kora resting against your shoulder as you pluck its strings, each note a step in a dance of memory. Jeli Kaba listens, correcting your pitch, your pacing, your pronunciation of ancient names. A griot does not falter, he says. A griot does not feel. By noon, you carry water from the Niger River, your back aching under the weight of the clay jug, your ears catching the chatter of traders and scholars who flood Timbuktu's markets. By evening you perform, sometimes in the king's hall, sometimes at a merchant's feast, sometimes in the open square where children gather to hear tales of spirits and warriors. Your voice is your power, clear and steady, rising above the murmur of the crowd. But it is also your cage. You cannot speak of your own heart, your own fears. You cannot falter. You cannot feel. And yet you do. The king's court is where you shine, though it is also where you are most invisible. The hall is vast, its walls painted with swirling patterns, its floor strewn with cushions where nobles recline, their gold jewelry glinting in the torchlight. Musa Suleiman, the king, sits at the center, his face stern beneath a turban heavy with emeralds. He is not the legend his brother Mansa Musa was, but he is cunning, his eyes always watching, always weighing. You stand before him, your kora in hand, and you sing of the empire's glory, the caravans that cross the Sahara, the mosques that touch the sky, the warriors who guard the borders. The nobles nod, their faces smug. The king's lips twitch, a rare sign of approval. But you are not one of them. You are a performer, a shadow in their light. When your song ends, they clap, they toss you coins, they move on to their wine and their schemes. You bow, you retreat, and you listen. Because that is the other part of being a griot, you hear everything. In the court, words are currency. Nobles whisper of trade routes, of rival kingdoms, of the king's failing health. Servants gossip about hidden lovers, about gold smuggled in the night. Scholars debate texts from distant lands, their voices sharp with ambition. You are the silent ear, the one they forget is there. You hear the vizier, a man with a fox's smile, murmur to a general about a northern tribe growing restless. You hear a concubine weep softly to a guard about a child she cannot claim. You hear the king's sister, Princess Khadija, speak in low tones to a foreign envoy, her words too soft to catch but her eyes alight with purpose. You store these fragments in your mind, not because you are a spy, but because a griot must know the world to sing of it. Knowledge is your shield, your secret. But it is also your burden. Because in Timbuktu, secrets are as dangerous as swords, and you are beginning to collect too many. One night, everything changes. It is a feast for a visiting prince from the Songhai Empire, a man with a laugh like thunder and a retinue of warriors whose spears gleam like stars. The hall is alive with music, the air thick with the scent of spiced meat and frankincense. You perform as always, your chorus singing of ancient alliances, your voice weaving a tale of unity between Mali and Songhai. The crowd is pleased. The prince claps loudly, his rings flashing. But as you step back into the shadows, Princess Khadija approaches you. She is tall, her robes the color of twilight, her face unreadable. Awa, she says, her voice low. Walk with me. It is not a request. Your heart quickens, but you follow her to a quiet corridor, where the torchlight flickers like a warning. I have watched you, Khadija says, her eyes searching yours. You see more than you sing. You hear more than you speak. You want to protest, to say you are only a griot, but her gaze silences you. There is a truth the empire hides, she continues, her voice barely a whisper. A truth about the king's bloodline. It could strengthen Mali, or shatter it. She pauses, and you feel the weight of her words like a stone in your chest. I need someone I can trust. Someone who can carry this truth without breaking. Will you help me? You should say no. You should run back to Jeli Kaba, to the safety of silence. But the whisper within you, the one that dreams of your own story, stirs. You nod, and in that moment you step onto a path from which there is no return. The corridor is cool, the air heavy with the scent of wax and earth. Princess Khadija's words linger like smoke, curling around your thoughts. A truth about the king's bloodline. You, Awa, a griot with nothing but a kora and a voice, have just been asked to carry a secret that could reshape an empire. Your pulse thrums in your ears, but you keep your face still, as Jeli Kaba taught you. A griot does not falter. A griot does not feel. Yet you feel everything, fear, curiosity, a flicker of pride that Khadija, of all people, chose you. She watches you now, her eyes sharp as a falcon's, waiting for more than your nod. Speak, she says, her voice soft but unyielding. Will you carry this burden, or will you run back to your strings and your silence? You swallow, your throat dry as the Sahara. I will help you, princess, you say, your voice steadier than you feel. But I am no warrior, no scholar. I am only a griot. What can I do that your advisors cannot? Khadija's lips curve, not quite a smile. Advisors lie. Warriors boast. Scholars argue. But a griot is the empire's memory. You can carry a truth where others would wield it like a blade. And this truth must be carried, not swung. She steps closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. Meet me at the Sankor Mosque tomorrow, after the evening prayer. Come alone. Tell no one, not even your master. Before you can ask more, she turns, her robes whispering against the stone floor, and she is gone, leaving you with the weight of her words and the echo of your own heartbeat. You return to the feast, your kora heavy in your hands. The hall is louder now, the prince's laughter booming over the clink of goblets and the wail of flutes. You play, you sing, But your mind is elsewhere, tangled in Khadija's cryptic promise. A truth about the king's bloodline. What could it be? Musa Suleiman is the brother of Musa Musa, his rule unquestioned, his lineage traced back to Sundiata himself. Yet Khadija spoke of strength and shattering, as if the empire's foundation could crumble with a single word. You finish your song, bow to the crowd, and slip into the shadows, but the noble's eyes seem to follow you, their smiles too sharp, their whispers too low. You are no longer just a griot, you realize. You are a keeper of something dangerous, and the court is no place for unguarded secrets. That night sleep eludes you. You lie on your mat in the courtyard, the Korah beside you like a silent confidant. The stars above Timbuktu are bright, but they offer no answers. You think of your mother, her voice a distant memory, her stories of spirits who guarded the truth even at the cost of their lives. You think of Jeli Kaba, his stern lessons, his warnings to stay small, to serve without question. Should you tell him? He is your master, the man who shaped you, but Khadija's words, tell no one, bind you like a vow. By dawn, your resolve hardens. You will meet Khadija. You will learn her truth. But you will be careful, because in Timbuktu, trust is a luxury even a griot cannot afford. The Sankor Mosque is a marvel, its mud brick walls rising like a fortress of knowledge, its courtyard alive with scholars debating beneath the shade of acacia trees. After the evening prayer, the crowd thins, and you slip inside, your Korah wrapped in cloth to avoid drawing attention. Khadija is waiting in a small alcove, her face half hidden by a veil. She gestures for you to sit, and you do, your heart pounding. Listen well, Awa. She begins, her voice low. What I tell you now is known only to a few, and they are either dead or sworn to silence. She pauses, her eyes searching the shadows as if expecting a spy. Musa Suleiman is not the true heir to the throne. His mother was a concubine, not a queen. The rightful heir is another, a child hidden at birth to protect the empire from civil war. The words hit you like a stone. You stare at Khadija, your mind racing. A hidden heir? The empire rests on the legitimacy of its kings, each one a link in a chain forged by Sundiata. If Suleiman's claim is false, the court, the nobles, the entire Mande people could turn against him. Who is this heir? You ask, your voice barely a whisper. Khadija's eyes darken. A woman, she says. My cousin, Mariama, raised in secret among the salt traders of Tagaza. She is the daughter of Musa Musa's true queen, born before Suleiman but hidden to avoid scandal. If her existence is revealed, she could claim the throne, or spark a war. You feel the ground shift beneath you. A female ruler? The Mande have never had a queen, not in the way Khadija describes. The nobles would scoff, the warriors rebel. Yet Khadija's voice is steady, her conviction unshakable. I want you to find Mariama, she says. Bring her to Timbuktu. Your songs can pave the way, make the people ready to accept her. You are a griot. Your voice can change the empire. You want to protest. You are no emissary, no hero. You are a girl with a Korah, trained to sing of the past, not to shape the future. But Khadija's gaze holds you, and you see something in her eyes, not just ambition, but fear. She is risking everything to tell you this. If she is caught, she will not be spared, princess or not. Why me? You ask, your voice trembling. Khadija leans closer. Because you are like me, she says. A woman who sees more than she is allowed to see. A woman who could be more than what this empire permits. Her words stir something deep within you, that whisper of your own story, the one you've buried beneath duty. You nod, and Khadija presses a small amulet into your hand, a carved wooden bird. This will guide you to Mariama, she says. Go north to Tagaza. Tell no one. Trust no one. And then she is gone, leaving you alone in the mosque silence, the amulet warm against your palm. The next morning, you tell Jeli Kaba you must visit your aunt in a nearby village, a lie that tastes bitter on your tongue. He studies you, his eyes narrowing, but he nods, muttering about your duties. You pack lightly, a Korah, a waterskin, a cloak, and join a caravan heading north, your heart a tangle of fear and resolve. The Sahara stretches before you, vast and unforgiving, its dunes shimmering like the edge of a dream. The traders are kind but distant, their voices drowned by the creak of camel saddles and the howl of the wind. You play your kora at night, singing of distant lands to keep their spirits high, but your thoughts are with Mariama. Who is she? A queen in hiding, or a myth spun by Khadija's ambition? And what will you do when you find her? The amulet hangs around your neck, its weight a reminder of the secret you carry, a secret that could crown a queen or bury you both. Days blur into weeks, the desert testing your endurance. Your lips crack, your feet blister, but you press on, driven by Khadija's words and your own stubborn need to know. In Tagaza, a salt mining town of dust and sweat, you find the first clue, a trader who recognizes the amulet. He points you to a small compound on the town's edge, where a woman lives quietly, known for her wisdom but not her name. Your heart races as you approach, the kora slung across your back. The compound is modest, its walls weathered by sand. You knock, and a woman opens the door. She is older than you expected, her hair streaked with gray, her eyes deep as the Niger. "I am Mariama," she says, her voice calm but guarded. You show her the amulet, and her face changes, a flicker of recognition then fear. "You should not have come," she says, pulling you inside. "This truth is a curse." Mariama's story unfolds in the dim light of her home, her voice soft but heavy. She is indeed the daughter of Musa Musa's queen, hidden at birth to protect her from a court that would never accept a female heir. She has lived in Tagaza for years, teaching children, trading salt, keeping her past buried. "I want no throne," she tells you, her hands trembling. "The empire is a beast that devours its own." Khadija dreams of justice, but she underestimates the cost. You argue, your voice rising. The people deserve the truth. The empire could be stronger under a queen. But Mariama shakes her head. "Truth does not win wars," she says. "It starts them." Yet she agrees to return with you, not for the throne, but to confront Khadija and end this dangerous dream. You sense her reluctance, but also her strength, a quiet power that reminds you of your mother's songs. The journey back is fraught with peril. A sandstorm forces the caravan to halt, and in the chaos, you notice a figure watching you, a man with a scar across his cheek, his eyes too keen for a simple trader. Your instincts scream danger, but you have no proof, only the amulet's weight and Mariama's silence. When you reach Timbuktu, the city feels different, its air thick with tension. Jeli Kaba greets you at the caravan's edge, his face unreadable. "You've been gone too long, Awa," he says, his voice cold. "The court has questions." Your stomach twists. Did he know about your lie? Has Khadija been exposed? You introduce Mariama as a distant cousin, but Jeli Kaba's eyes linger on her, and you realize he sees more than he says. That night, you slip away to find Khadija, Mariama at your side. The princess is waiting in the mosque, but her face is pale, her hands trembling. "They know," she whispers. "The vizier suspects. He has spies everywhere." Before you can respond, the door bursts open, and the scarred man from the caravan steps inside, a dagger glinting in his hand. The air in the Sankor mosque turns sharp, as if the dagger in the scarred man's hand has sliced through the very breath of the room. You, Awa, stand frozen, your chorus slung across your back, its strings silent for the first time in days. Princess Khadija steps forward, her voice steady despite the fear in her eyes. "You dare draw a blade in a house of peace?" she says, her tone a whip. The scarred man smirks, his eyes glinting like wet stone. "Peace is a lie, princess," he says, his voice low, accented with the cadence of the northern tribes. "And so is your truth." Mariama, the hidden heir, stands beside you, her gray-streaked hair catching the torchlight. She is calm, too calm, her hands clasped as if in prayer, but you see the tension in her shoulders, the weight of a life spent hiding. You want to run, to scream, but your training holds you still. A griot does not falter. A griot does not feel. Yet your heart pounds, and your mind races. Who is this man? A spy for the vizier, as Khadija feared? A hired blade sent to silence Mariama's claim before it can spread? Or something worse, someone tied to Jelly Kaba, your master, whose cold greeting at the caravan's edge now feels like a warning? Before you can speak, Khadija raises a hand. Name your master, she demands. The scarred man laughs, a sound like gravel underfoot. You think I serve one man? The empire is a web, princess, and you've tangled yourself in it. He steps closer, the dagger steady, its blade catching the flicker of the torches. You feel the amulet around your neck, the carved wooden bird, warm against your skin. It was supposed to guide you to Mariama, but now it feels like a weight pulling you toward a precipice. Then, a sound, a soft, deliberate scrape of sandal against stone. The scarred man freezes, his head turning toward the alcove behind him. From the shadows steps a figure, cloaked in dark robes, her face half hidden by a scarf. Her hands are empty, but her presence is a blade of its own. Enough, she says, her voice low, resonant, like the hum of your kora's deepest string. The scarred man hesitates, his dagger lowering slightly. Khadija's eyes widen, and Mariama lets out a soft breath, as if she recognizes the voice. You, however, are lost, your gaze darting between the stranger and the man who threatens your life. Who are you? You ask, your voice trembling despite your effort to stay calm. The woman pulls back her scarf, revealing a face lined with age but fierce with purpose. Her eyes meet yours, and you feel a jolt, as if she sees not just you, but the whisper of your own story, the one you've never dared to tell. I am Fatumata, she says, keeper of the silent strings. The name means nothing to you, but Khadija's sharp intake of breath tells you it carries weight. Mariama steps forward, her voice soft but urgent. You're one of them, she says, not a question but a confirmation. Fatumata nods, her gaze never leaving the scarred man. Put down your blade, Kofi, she says, addressing him by name. You know the penalty for raising a weapon against the strings. The scarred man, Kofi, tenses, his jaw tight, but he lowers the dagger, his eyes burning with defiance. The vizier will hear of this. He spits, then turns and slips into the shadows, leaving the mosque as swiftly as he entered. The silence that follows is heavy, broken only by the distant call of the muezzin, signaling the end of the night's prayers. Fatumata turns to you, her expression unreadable. You've stepped into a dance you don't understand, child, she says. But you're not alone. She gestures to Khadija and Mariama, then back to you. Come. There is little time. You follow her through a hidden door in the mosque's wall, a passage so narrow you must turn sideways to pass. The air grows cool, damp, and you hear the faint drip of water, the echo of your footsteps. Your kora bumps against your back, a reminder of the life you thought you knew, the life that seems to be unraveling with every step. Khadija walks behind you, her silence heavy with questions. Mariama is last, her presence a quiet strength, though you sense her reluctance, her fear of the throne she never wanted. The passage opens into a small chamber, its walls carved with swirling patterns, its floor covered in woven mats. 3 other women wait there, their faces lit by a single oil lamp. They are older, their robes simple but their eyes sharp, like hawks watching a storm. Fatumata gestures for you to sit, and you do, your kora resting in your lap. You are in the presence of the silent strings, she says, her voice carrying the weight of ritual. We are grats, like you, but we serve no king, no court. We guard the truths the empire buries, the stories no man dares to sing. Your breath catches. A secret society of female grats? You've heard whispers of such things, tales of women who wove rebellion into their songs, who preserved forbidden histories, but you thought them myths, stories to comfort girls like you who dreamed of more. Khadija speaks first, her voice sharp. Why reveal yourselves now? If you've guarded Mariama's truth all these years, why risk exposure? Fatumata's eyes soften, but her tone is firm. Because the empire is fracturing. The vizier, Amadou, seeks to claim the throne for himself. He knows of Mariama, and he will kill her to secure his path. But you, Khadija, have forced our hand by bringing Awa into this. She looks at you, and you feel exposed, as if your secrets, your doubts, your dreams, are laid bare. Awa's voice is known in Timbuktu. Fatoumata continues. Her songs could sway the people, make them ready for a queen. But she must choose, serve the strings, or return to her master and forget what she's seen. You want to protest, to say you're no leader, no rebel. You're a grat, trained to sing, not to scheme. But the memory of Khadijah's words, you could be more, burns within you, and the weight of the amulet, still around your neck, anchors you to this moment. Mariama speaks, her voice quiet but steady. I will not take the throne, she says. But I will not let Amadou destroy what my father built. If Awa's songs can stop him, I will stand with her. Khadijah nods, her jaw tight, and you realize the choice is yours. To walk away is to return to Jeli Kaaba, to the safety of silence, to a life where your stories belong to others. To stay is to risk everything, your voice, your life, your very name. Before you can answer, the chamber trembles, a low rumble that sends dust falling from the ceiling. Footsteps echo in the passage, heavy and urgent. Fatoumata's eyes narrow, and she draws a small knife from her robes. They've found us, she whispers. The other women rise, their movements swift, practiced. Khadijah grabs your arm, her grip bruising. We must go, she says, but Mariama hesitates, her eyes on the passage. The footsteps grow louder, and then a figure steps into the light, Jeli Kaaba, your master, his face a mask of fury and betrayal. Awa, he says, his voice like a blade. You've gone too far. Behind him are guards, their spears gleaming, and you realize the vizier's web is tighter than you feared. Your heart sinks, but the whisper within you, the one that dreams of your own story, refuses to be silenced. Jeli Kaaba's presence in the chamber is a betrayal that cuts deeper than any dagger. You've trusted him, obeyed him, shaped your voice to his commands. Yet here he stands, flanked by the vizier's guards, his eyes cold as the desert night. You were my student, he says, his voice low, almost mournful. I taught you to serve the empire, to keep its stories safe. And you repay me with treason? The word stings, but you hold his gaze, your hands tightening around your kora. I serve the truth, you say, surprising yourself with the strength in your voice. If the empire hides it, then the empire is flawed. Fatoumata steps forward, her knife still drawn. Leave, Kaaba, she says. This is no place for you. But Jeli Kaaba shakes his head, his eyes flickering with something you can't name, regret, perhaps, or resolve. The guards advance, their spears lowered, but before they can strike, one of the silent strings, an older woman with a scar across her cheek, throws a handful of sand into the air. The lamp flickers, shadows dancing, and in the confusion, Fatoumata pulls you toward another passage. Run! She hisses. You stumble after her, Khadijah and Mariama at your heels, the sound of clashing metal and shouts fading behind you. The passage twists, its walls damp and narrow, and you run until your lungs burn, the kora bouncing against your back. When you emerge, you're in an alley behind the mosque, the night air cool against your skin. Fatoumata leads you to a small house, its door hidden by a curtain of beads. Inside, the air smells of herbs and wax, and you collapse onto a mat, your heart still racing. What now? Khadijah asks, her voice sharp with frustration. Fatoumata's face is grim. The vizier knows of Mariama, she says. Kaaba must have told him. He'll hunt her, and us, until the truth is buried. Mariama sits quietly, her hands folded, but her eyes are alive with resolve. Then we fight, she says. Not for the throne, but for the empire. The people deserve to know who they serve. You look at her, this woman who could be queen, and see the weight she carries, the life she never chose. You think of your mother, her voice silenced too soon, and of the stories you've buried to please others. I'll sing, you say, your voice steady now. I'll sing of Mariama, of the truth. The people will listen. Fatoumata nods, but her eyes are wary. It's not so simple, she says. The silent strings have a plan, one we've guarded for years. There is a gathering in 3 days, a festival for the traders. Thousands will come to Timbuktu. If you sing there, your voice could spark a movement, or a massacre. She pauses, her gaze heavy. And there's something you must know, Awa. Your mother was one of us. She died not of illness, as you were told, but because she sang a truth the court could not bear. The words hit you like a wave, stealing your breath. Your mother, a silent string? The stories she told you, the songs she sang, they were more than lullabies. They were rebellion, woven into melody. You feel the amulet against your chest, and you wonder if she, too, carried one, if she died for it. The small house is a cocoon of shadows, the air thick with the scent of dried herbs, and the faint hum of the city beyond the walls. You, Awa, sit on a woven mat, your kora resting against your knee, its strings catching the flicker of the oil lamp. Fatoumata's words about your mother echo in your mind, each one a note in a song you never knew you carried. She was a silent string, a grot who wove rebellion into her melodies, and she died for it. The amulet around your neck, the carved wooden bird, feels heavier now, as if it holds not just Khadija's secret, but your mother's legacy. Princess Khadija paces the room, her robes whispering with each step, her face taut with urgency. Mariama, the hidden heir, sits opposite you, her gray eyes steady but distant, as if she's already bracing for the storm to come. Fatoumata and the other silent strings watch you, their silence a question. Will you carry this truth, or will you break under its weight? You want to ask about your mother, what truth she sang, who silenced her, why she never told you, but the words stick in your throat. Instead, you clutch the kora, its familiar curves grounding you. The festival. You say, your voice softer than you intend. You said my songs could spark a movement. How? Fatoumata kneels before you, her lined face softening. The traders' festival draws the heart of the empire, she says. Merchants from Gao, scholars from Walata, warriors from the south, they'll all be there, thousands strong. Your voice, Awa, is known. Your songs of Sundiata, of Mansa Musa, have reached every corner of Timbuktu. If you sing of Mariama, of the true heir, the people will listen. They may rise. Khadija stops pacing, her eyes blazing. Or they may riot, she says. The vizier, Amadou, has the army's loyalty. If he senses a threat, he'll crush it before it begins. Mariama speaks, her voice like a river over stone. I don't want a crown, she says, her hands folded in her lap. But I won't let Amadou steal the empire my father built. If your songs can expose him, Awa, I'll face whatever comes. You look at her, this woman who could be queen, and see not ambition but duty, a mirror of your own struggle to honor the past while daring to shape the future. Fatoumata nods, but her eyes are wary. There's more you must know, she says, her voice dropping. Amadou's plan is not just to kill Mariama. He seeks to erase the Mande bloodline entirely. He's forged documents claiming he's a distant cousin of Sundiata, blessed by the Marabous. If Suleiman dies, and his health weakens daily, Amadou will declare himself king, and no one will question it. The revelation lands like a stone in still water, rippling through the room. You think of the vizier, his fox's smile, his whispered plots in the king's hall. You've seen him charm nobles, bribe traders, intimidate scholars. He's not just a man. He's a shadow cast over the empire, growing longer with every passing day. Khadija's face hardens. Then we have no time, she says. Awa must sing at the festival. The people must know before Amadou acts. But Fatoumata raises a hand, her gaze fixed on you. There's one more truth, Awa, she says, and the air grows heavy, as if the lamp's flame holds its breath. Your mother's death was no accident, and neither was your birth. You are not just a Griot's daughter. You are Mariama's sister. The words are a thunderclap, stealing your breath. You stare at Fatoumata, then at Mariama, whose eyes widen, her calm fracturing for the first time. Sister? You whisper, your voice barely audible. Fatoumata nods, her expression a mix of sorrow and resolve. Your mother, Aminata, was a silent string, but she was also the lover of Mansa Musa's true queen, your father's sister. When the queen bore Mariama, she was hidden to protect her. But when Aminata bore you, years later, she chose to raise you as her own, to keep you safe from the court's knives. She died to protect you both, singing a truth that exposed Amadou's early schemes. The court called it fever, but it was poison. You feel the world tilt, the chorus slipping from your lap. Mariama is your sister? You, a grout with calloused hands and a borrowed name, are the daughter of a queen? The amulet around your neck burns against your skin, and you see it now for what it is, not just a guide, but a mark of your blood, your birthright. Mariama reaches for your hand, her touch tentative, her eyes searching yours. I didn't know, she says, her voice breaking. All these years I thought I was alone. You want to speak, to cry, to demand why this was kept from you, but the weight of it all, your mother's sacrifice, your hidden lineage, the empire's fragile balance, pins you to the mat. Khadijah's voice cuts through the silence, sharp and urgent. This changes everything, she says. Alwa's blood strengthens Mariama's claim. If they stand together, the people will follow. But Fatumata's face is grim. Or they'll both die, she says. Amadou's spies are everywhere. Jelly Kaba's betrayal proves it. If he knows of Awa's role, he may suspect her blood. The festival is our only chance, but it's also a trap. You look at the women around you, Fatumata, fierce and unyielding, Khadijah, burning with ambition, Mariama, your sister, carrying a crown she never wanted. And you, Awa, no longer just a Gra, but a daughter of queens, a keeper of truths that could save or shatter the empire. The whisper within you, the one that dreams of your own story, roars now, demanding to be heard. I'll sing, you say, your voice steady despite the chaos in your heart. For Mariama, for my mother, for the truth. I'll sing at the festival, and Amadou will not silence me. The next 3 days are a blur of preparation and fear. The silent strings teach you a new song, one woven with riddles and metaphors, a tale of a hidden queen and a thief who steals the sun. It's subtle enough to pass as folklore, sharp enough to cut through Amadou's lies. You practice in secret, your fingers trembling on the chorus strings, your voice finding strength in the memory of your mother's lullabies. Khadijah arranges for you to perform at the festival's heart, a raised platform in Timbuktu's central square, where thousands will gather. Mariama stays close, her presence a quiet anchor, though you catch her staring at you, as if memorizing the sister she never knew she had. Fatumata and the strings move like shadows, spreading whispers among the traders and scholars, planting seeds of doubt about Amadou's loyalty. But danger lurks in every corner. You see Kofi, the scarred man, watching from the market, his eyes like a predator's. You hear rumors of soldiers searching homes, of nobles summoned to the vizier's chambers. Jelly Kaba has vanished, his absence a wound you can't ignore. Did he betray you out of loyalty to Amadou, or was he coerced? You want to believe he cared for you, that his harsh lessons were meant to protect you, but the memory of his cold eyes in the mosque haunts you. The night before the festival, you dream of your mother, her voice singing a song you can't quite hear, her hands reaching for you through a haze of sand. You wake with tears on your cheeks, the amulet clutched in your fist, and you know there's no turning back. The festival dawns bright and chaotic, Timbuktu alive with color and sound. The square is a sea of robes and turbans, the air thick with the scent of grilled meat and jasmine. Camels groan, drums pulse, children dart through the crowd, their laughter a fleeting bomb. You stand backstage, your kora in hand, your heart a drumbeat of its own. Mariama is hidden nearby, cloaked as a traitor, her face veiled but her eyes locked on you. Khadijah is with the nobles, her presence a shield against suspicion. Fatumata and the strings are scattered through the crowd, their whispers spreading like wildfire. You feel the weight of their trust, their hope, their fear. The platform is yours, the kora is yours, and for the first time, the story is yours. You step into the sunlight, and the crowd hushes, their eyes on you, their expectations a familiar weight. You pluck the chorus strings, and the notes rise, clear and haunting, weaving a melody that feels like your mother's voice. You sing of a hidden queen, a daughter of the sun, stolen from her people by a thief who craves her light. The words are veiled, but the crowd leans in, their faces shifting, curiosity, recognition, unease. You see Amadou among the nobles, his smile frozen, his eyes narrowing. You sing of a sister, a griot who carries the truth in her strings, and you feel Mariama's gaze, her strength fueling yours. The song builds, its rhythm a heartbeat, its words a blade, and you know you're crossing a line from which there's no return. Then a shout. Soldiers push through the crowd, their spears raised, led by Kofi, his scarred face twisted with purpose. Amadou steps forward, his voice booming over the square. "Seize her!" he cries. "This griot sings treason!" The crowd gasps, murmurs rising like a tide. You falter, your fingers slipping on the strings, but Mariama steps onto the platform, her veil falling, her face revealed. "I am Mariama," she says, her voice carrying like a bell. "Daughter of Mansa Musa's queen, true heir to the Mali Empire. This griot sings the truth, and you will hear it." The square erupts, some cheering, others shouting, the air electric with shock and defiance. You see Khadija among the nobles, her eyes blazing with triumph, but Fatoumata's warning echoes in your mind, a movement, or a massacre. The square is a storm of voices, a thousand threads of sound weaving chaos around you. You, Awa, stand on the platform, your kora trembling in your hands, its strings still humming from the song that named Mariama as the true heir. Mariama stands beside you, her veil gone, her face fierce and open, her gray eyes blazing with a courage you didn't know she carried. The crowd surges, some shouting her name. "Mariama! Daughter of the Queen!" Others cursing, their loyalty to Mansa Suleiman a shield against her claim. Vizier Amadou's voice cuts through the din, sharp as a blade. "Seize the griot!" He bellows again, his arm outstretched, his gold rings glinting in the sun. "She spreads lies to tear the empire apart." Soldiers push forward, led by Kofi, the scarred man, his spear lowered, his eyes locked on you like a hunter's. Your heart pounds, but you don't move. You are a griot, trained to stand before kings, to sing through fear. The amulet around your neck, the carved wooden bird, pulses with warmth, a reminder of your mother, of Mariama your sister, of the truth you've chosen to carry. Princess Khadija is among the nobles, her face a mask of defiance, her hands clenched as if ready to fight. Fatoumata and the silent strings are hidden in the crowd, their whispers fueling the murmurs of rebellion. But you feel their eyes on you, their hope a weight heavier than the kora. Mariama steps closer, her voice low but steady. "Keep singing, Awa," she says. "They can't silence us both." You want to believe her, but the soldiers are closing in, their spears a forest of death, and Amadou's smile is a promise of blood. Then, a figure moves through the crowd, swift and purposeful, his robes tattered but his stride unbroken. Jeli Kaba, your master, steps into the open, his face lined with exhaustion, his eyes burning with something you can't name. The crowd parts, their voices faltering, for Kaba is a legend, a griot whose songs have shaped the empire's heart. You freeze, the memory of his betrayal in the mosque a wound that hasn't healed. He stood with Amadou's guards, called you a traitor, yet here he is, alone, his hands empty. "Enough!" he shouts, his voice booming over the square, silencing even Amadou's commands. The soldiers hesitate, their spears wavering, and Kofi's scowl deepens, but he doesn't advance. Kaba turns to the crowd, his gaze sweeping over nobles, traders, children, scholars. "This griot speaks the truth," he says, pointing to you. "And I, Jeli Kaba, have failed her." The words hit you like a wave, stealing your breath. Failed you? You want to scream, to demand why he turned against you, why he led Amadou's guards to the silent strings. But Kaba's eyes meet yours, and you see not anger, but shame, a grief so deep it mirrors your own. "I serve the empire," he says, his voice softer now, meant for you as much as the crowd. "I served Mansa Suleiman, Amadou, the court. I thought silence was strength, that keeping secrets kept us safe. But I was wrong, Awa. Your mother taught me that, and I didn't listen. She died for the truth, and I let her name fade." Your chest tightens, the mention of your mother a spark in the dark. Kaba knew her, knew she was a silent string, knew she was poisoned. And he stayed silent. Amadou laughs, a cold, brittle sound. "Old man, your time is done," he says, stepping forward, his robes billowing. This griot and her so-called queen are traitors. The empire needs strength, not stories. He raises a hand, and the soldiers advance again, but Kaba doesn't move. He turns to you, his voice urgent. Sing, Awa. Sing your mother's song. It's the only weapon we have left. You don't understand, not fully, but his words ignite something within you, the whisper of your own story, the one you've buried beneath duty and fear. You lift the kora, your fingers finding the strings, and you sing. The melody is one you've never played, yet it flows from you like a river, a song your mother must have sung to you in the cradle, its notes heavy with loss and hope. You sing of a queen hidden in shadows, a sister born to carry her light, a griot whose voice could wake an empire. The words are bold now, no longer veiled, naming Mariama as the heir, exposing Amadou's lies, his forged lineage, his hunger for the throne. The crowd listens, their faces shifting, anger, awe, belief. The soldiers falter, some lowering their spears, their loyalty to Amadou cracking under the weight of your song. Kofi lunges, his spear aimed at your heart, but Kaba moves faster, throwing himself between you, the blade sinking into his chest. The square gasps, a collective breath held and released. Kaba falls, his blood staining the platform, his eyes finding yours. Finish it, he whispers, his voice fading. You want to scream, to cradle him, to ask why he betrayed you only to save you now, but the song is all you have. You sing through tears, your voice breaking but unbroken, carrying Kaba's sacrifice, your mother's truth, Mariama's claim. The crowd surges forward, not in violence but in unity, their voices joining yours, a chant of Mariama! Mariama! That drowns out Amadou's shouts. The vizier's face twists, his control slipping, and he turns to flee, but the silent strings are there, their knives flashing, their faces fierce. Fatoumata steps forward, her voice cutting through the chaos. The empire will judge you, Amadou, she says, and the crowd roars, there will a tide he cannot escape. Mariama takes your hand, her touch grounding you as the song fades. The soldiers drop their spears, some kneeling, others joining the crowd's chant. Khadija pushes through, her eyes alight with triumph, but also sorrow as she sees Kaba's body. You kneel beside him, your kora forgotten, your hands trembling as you touch his face. Why? You whisper, but he's gone, his eyes open to the sky. Fatoumata kneels beside you, her hand on your shoulder. He loved your mother, she says softly. He blamed himself for her death, for his silence. When he saw you with us, he thought he could protect you by serving Amadou, by keeping you close. But he couldn't silence his heart, not in the end. The truth is a bittersweet ache, a knot of grief and forgiveness you'll carry always. The festival becomes a reckoning. Amadou is seized, his forged documents burned in the square, his schemes laid bare by the silent strings evidence. Mariama speaks to the crowd, not as a queen, but as a daughter of the empire, offering to serve only if the people choose her. They do, their voices a thunder that shakes the minarets, but you see the weight in her eyes, the cost of a crown she never sought. You and Mariama, sisters bound by blood and truth, stand together, but you know your path is different. The empire needs Mariama's strength, but it needs your voice, too, not to serve, but to question, to remember, to dream. You make your sacrifice in the quiet of the night, when the festival's fires have burned low and Timbuktu sleeps. You slip into the Sankor Mosque, your kora in hand, and you sing one last song, not for the crowd, but for yourself, for your mother, for Kaaba. It's a song of endings and beginnings, of truths that burn and heal. Then you leave the kora on the altar, its strings silent, and you walk away. You are no longer just a griot, no longer just a queen's daughter. You are Awa, and your story is your own. You join the silent strings, not to sing for kings, but to guard the truths that empires bury, to ensure no voice like your mother's is ever lost again. Years later they'll speak of you in whispers, a griot who woke an empire, whose songs crowned a queen. They'll say your name with awe, but they won't know your face, your heart, the amulet you still carry. And that's enough. As you walk into the desert, the stars above Timbuktu your only witness, you feel your mother's song within you, soft as a lullaby, guiding you to sleep, to peace, to a story that never ends. Imagine, for a moment, that time has softened the edges of your memory, like water smoothing a river stone. You are Awa, no longer the young griot who stood trembling on a platform in Timbuktu Square, your Korah a shield against the vizier's wrath. It is 1240, 5 years since the festival that crowned Mariama, your sister, as the Mali Empire's first queen. The minarets of Timbuktu still pierce the sky, but the city hums with a different rhythm now, less gold, more purpose, as if the empire has exhaled a long-held breath. You are 23, your hands still calloused but no longer from strings. The Korah you left in the Sankor Mosque remains there, a silent relic, its wood worn by the touch of pilgrims who whisper your name without knowing your face. You are a silent string now, a guardian of truths the empire cannot bear to sing, and your life is a shadow cast by starlight, unseen but ever present. Your days are no longer bound by the court's demands or Jelly Kaba's stern lessons. You live on the edges of cities, in mud-brick houses hidden by acacia groves, or in desert camps where the wind carries the scent of salt and secrets. The silent strings are your family, Fatoumata, now gray but fierce as ever, Nia, the scarred woman whose sand-throwing saved you in the mosque, and others, young and old, their voices a chorus of defiance. You travel the empire, from the Niger's banks to the salt flats of Tagaza, collecting stories the powerful would bury, a merchant's theft disguised as piety, a warrior's mercy mistaken for weakness, a child's dream that could shift the empire's course. You do not sing these stories, not as you once did. Instead, you weave them into riddles, into patterns carved on amulets, into whispers passed from one string to another, ensuring the truth endures even if the empire falls. Tonight you sit beneath a baobab tree, its branches heavy with the weight of centuries, somewhere between Timbuktu and Wa'ada. The desert stretches around you, its dunes silver under a crescent moon. Fatoumata is beside you, her knife carving a new amulet, this one a spiral that means memory. The fire between you crackles, its warmth a small defiance against the night's chill. You're quiet tonight, Awa, she says, her voice soft but probing. The stars are loud, but you're not listening. You smile, a reflex to hide the ache in your chest. The stars are indeed loud, their light a song you can't quite hear, and they pull your thoughts to Mariama, to the sister you left behind, to the empire you helped reshape and then abandoned. Mariama's reign is a marvel and a burden. You hear of it in the markets, in the tales of traders who pass through your camps. She rules with a steady hand, her court filled with scholars and griots, her laws fair but unyielding. She's built schools in Gao, mosques in Jin, and trade routes that stretch to the Songhai lands. The people call her Sun Khalifa, the Sun Queen, and her name is sung in the same breath as Sundiata's. But you know the cost. You've seen it in the letters she sends, hidden in caravans, their ink smudged with her urgency. The nobles chafe under a woman's rule, whispering of tradition. The northern tribes grow restless, their loyalty thin without Amadou's bribes. And Mariama herself, your sister, writes of sleepless nights, of a throne that feels like a cage. I need you, Awa, her last letter said. Your voice could steady them. Come back. You didn't reply. Not because you don't love her, but because your voice is no longer hers to command. It belongs to the strings, to the truths you guard, to the girl you're still learning to be. The ache in your chest is more than Mariama, though. It's Jelly Kaba, his blood on the platform, his final words, finish it, still echoing in your dreams. It's your mother, Aminata, whose lullabies were rebellion, whose death you couldn't avenge. And it's you, Awa, the griot who became a queen's daughter, who woke an empire, only to walk away. You touch the amulet around your neck, the carved wooden bird, its edges worn smooth by your fingers. Fatoumata notices, her knife pausing. It's calling you, isn't it? She says, her eyes on the amulet. Not Mariama's call, but something older. You nod, unable to lie. The amulet has always been more than a guide, more than a mark of your blood. Lately it hums in your dreams, a vibration that pulls you north, toward Tagaza, where Mariama once hid, where your mother's story began. Before you can answer, Nia approaches, her scarred face tense. A rider came, she says, her voice low. From Timbuktu. There's trouble. Your heart quickens, but you keep your face still, a Grat's habit. Fatoumata sets down her knife, her eyes narrowing. Speak, she says. Nia glances at you, then back to Fatoumata. A Grat was found dead in the market, her kora broken, her amulet missing. The people say it's bandits, but the strings in Timbuktu think otherwise. They found a mark on her body, a spiral, like ours, but inverted. It's a message. The air grows heavy, the fires crackle suddenly too loud. An inverted spiral. The silent strings use symbols to communicate, but an inverted mark is a warning, a defiance. Someone knows of your order, your secrets, and they're hunting you. Fatoumata's face is grim. Amadou's allies, she says. He's gone, but his web remains. Or someone new, someone who wants the strings silenced. She looks at you, her gaze heavy. The rider brought a name, Awa. The Grat was Safi, your cousin. She trained with you under Kaaba years ago. The name is a blade, cutting through your calm. Safi, the girl who laughed too loudly, whose fingers stumbled on the kora but whose heart was fierce. You haven't seen her since you were children, but the memory of her smile burns. Why her? You ask, your voice breaking. Nia hesitates, then pulls a cloth from her robe, stained with blood. In its folds is a fragment of wood, carved with a bird, identical to your amulet. This was left beside her, Nia says. It's not hers. It's yours. The world tilts, the stars blurring above you. Your amulet is still around your neck, its weight familiar, but this fragment, its twin, means someone knows your blood, your role, your mother's legacy. Fatoumata takes the cloth, her fingers steady but her eyes dark. This is no bandit, she says. This is a hunter, and they're coming for you, Awa. For you and Mariama. Your mind races, piecing together fragments. Amadou's allies, yes, but this feels personal, tied to your mother's death, to the truth she died for. Was it not Amadou who poisoned her, but someone else, someone still watching, still waiting? The inverted spiral, the broken kora, the carved bird, they're a challenge, a call to finish what your mother began. Fatoumata stands, her voice firm. We move at dawn, she says. To Tagaza. If the amulet calls you north, Awa, it's no coincidence. The truth lies there, and we'll face this hunter together. You nod, but your heart is a tangle of fear and resolve. You think of Mariama, alone on her throne, and wonder if she's safe, if she knows the danger creeping closer. You think of Safi, her laughter silenced, her kora broken. And you think of your mother, whose songs you carry, whose death you must now avenge. The silent strings are your strength, but this fight is yours, a story you can't walk away from. As the fire dies, you lie beneath the baobab, the stars your only roof. You clutch the amulet, its hum louder now, a melody you're beginning to understand. You are Awa, Grat, Queen's daughter, silent string. Your voice woke an empire once, and it will sing again, not for glory, but for truth, for the sisters you've lost and the sister you still have. The desert whispers around you, soft as a lullaby, and you drift towards sleep, the stars singing you forward, into a story that's only just begun. The dawn is a quiet thing, a slow bleed of gold across the desert's edge, where the sand hums with the memory of night. You, Awa, rise from beneath the baobab, your cloak dusted with grit, the amulet around your neck warm as a living thing. The silent strings move with purpose, their faces shadowed but resolute. Fatoumata, her knife tucked into her robe. Nia, her scarred cheek taut with focus. And two younger strings, Aisata and Kumba, whose eyes carry the fire of those new to the fight. The fire from last night is ash now, but its heat lingers in your chest, fueled by Safi's death, the broken kora, the carved bird left as a taunt. Someone is hunting you, someone who knows your blood, your mother's truth, and the silent string's secrets. Tagaza, the salt city where Mariama once hid, calls you north, and you feel it in the amulet's hum, in the pull of your dreams, as if your mother's voice guides you still. You travel light, your kora left behind in Timbuktu, its absence a hollow in your hands. The strings carry only what they need: water skins, dried millet, knives hidden in folds of cloth. The desert is no friend, its dunes shifting like a restless sea, its sun a weight that presses thought into silence. You walk in single file, Fatoumata leading, her steps sure despite her age. Nia guards the rear, her eyes scanning the horizon for signs of pursuit. You feel exposed, the vastness of the Sahara a mirror to your fear. Who is this hunter? An ally of Amadou, seeking revenge for his fall? A noble who fears Mariama's rule? Or someone older, tied to your mother's death, to the poison that stole her breath before you could know her? The amulet hums louder as you walk, its vibration a melody only you can hear. You clutch it, the carved wooden bird worn smooth by years of touch, and you wonder what it hides. Fatoumata told you it was your mother's, a mark of her role as a silent string, but the fragment found with Safi, its twin, suggests a deeper purpose. Was it a key, a map, a warning? You want to ask Fatoumata, but her focus is on the path, her silence a reminder that questions can wait, but danger cannot. By noon, the heat is a furnace, and you pause in the shade of a rocky outcrop, sipping water that tastes of clay. Aisata, the youngest string, offers you a strip of dried meat, her smile shy but warm. You're quiet, Awa, she says. Like the desert before a storm. You try to smile back, but the weight of Safi's death, of Mariama's distant throne, presses too heavily. Nia's sharp whistle cuts through the moment, her hand raised, her body tense. You follow her gaze to the horizon, where a shimmer moves against the dunes, not a mirage, but a rider cloaked in dark robes, their camels stride steady. Fatoumata's hand goes to her knife, her voice low. Stay still, she says. It could be a traitor, or it could be him. The hunter. Your pulse quickens, but you obey, crouching behind the rock, your breath shallow. The rider slows, their face hidden by a scarf, but their posture is deliberate, searching. They pause, scanning the outcrop, and you feel their gaze like a blade across your skin. Then, as swiftly as they appeared, they turn and ride west, vanishing into the heat's haze. Nia exhales, but her eyes are wary. They'll be back, she says. They know we're here. The encounter sets a new rhythm to your journey, one of vigilance and haste. Fatoumata pushes you harder, her voice sharp when Kumba stumbles or Aisata lingers to adjust her pack. To Gaza is 3 days if we don't stop, she says. We can't afford to be found. You want to ask why to Gaza, what truth waits there, but the amulet's hum is answer enough. It's calling you, and you trust it, as you once trusted your chorus strings. At night you camp without a fire, the stars your only light, their patterns a map you can't read. Fatoumata sits beside you, her knife carving another amulet, this one a wave that means change. Your mother loved the desert, she says, her voice soft, unprompted. She said it was honest, even when it killed. She wore that bird amulet every day, said it was her heart outside her chest. You swallow, the ache of her absence sharp. What did she die for? You ask, your voice barely a whisper. Fatoumata's knife pauses, her eyes distant. A truth about the empire's founding, she says. Not Mariama's bloodline, but something older, tied to Sundiata himself. She found a record, a scroll hidden in Tagaza's salt mines, that proved Sundiata's victory was no gift from the gods, but a bargain with a northern sorcerer, a man whose descendants still claim power. Aminata sang of it, veiled in metaphor, but the court knew. Someone silenced her before she could say more. Your breath catches. A sorcerer's bargain? The Mali Empire rests on Sundiata's legend, his divine mandate. If that's a lie, the empire's heart is flawed, and someone, perhaps the hunter, guards that secret still. The next day brings a sandstorm, a howling wall of grit that forces you to huddle beneath cloaks, your face pressed to the earth. The wind screams, and you hear it as your mother's voice, urging you forward. When the storm clears, you're closer to Tagaza, its salt flats glinting like a mirage. But Nia's shout pulls you back, a trail in the sand, fresh tracks of a camel, circling your camp. The hunter is closer, and they're not alone. Fatoumata's face is grim. We split up, she says. Awa, you and Aisata go to the mines. The scroll your mother found, it's still there, hidden. Find it. Nia, Kumba, and I will draw them off. You want to protest, but her eyes silence you. Isata grips your hand, her fear mirroring yours, and you run, the amulets hum a drumbeat in your chest. Tagaza is a city of salt and sweat, its houses carved from white blocks, its air thick with dust. The mines are a labyrinth, their tunnels cool and dark, their walls gleaming with salt crystals. Isata lights a torch, her flame casting shadows that dance like spirits. You follow the amulet's pull, deeper into the earth, until you find a niche, hidden behind a loose stone. Inside is a scroll, its papyrus brittle, its ink faded but legible. You unroll it, your hands trembling, and read of Sundiata's bargain, a pact with a sorcerer named Idris, whose bloodline would hold sway over Mali's fate. The scroll names his descendants, and one stands out, Amadou. The vizier wasn't just a schemer, he was a claimant, his power rooted in a secret older than the empire. Before you can process it, Isata gasps, her torch dropping. A figure steps into the light, a woman, not the rider, her face sharp and familiar, her robes the color of dusk. Awa, she says, her voice like a blade. You should have stayed silent. It's Khadija, Princess Khadija, your ally, your friend. Her eyes are cold, her hand holding a knife, and behind her are men, their faces scarred like Kofi's. The empire needs strength, she says, not truths that weaken it. Amadou was a fool, but his blood was Idris's. I serve that legacy, not Mariama's. The twist is a betrayal deeper than Kaba's, a wound that steals your breath. Khadija, who pushed you to sing, who stood with you against Amadou, is the hunter's ally, guarding a secret that threatens her own sister's throne. Isata draws her knife, but Khadija's men are faster, their blades at her throat. You clutch the scroll, the amulet burning against your skin. Why? You ask, your voice breaking. Khadija's smile is bitter. Mariama's reign is a dream, she says. The empire needs a ruler who can hold it, not break it with old secrets. Your mother learned that. So will you. You see it now, Khadija's ambition, her fear of a fractured empire, her loyalty to a legacy you've only begun to understand. But you are Awa, Griat, silent string, daughter of queens. You won't break. You sing, not with a kora, but with your voice, a sharp, piercing note that echoes in the tunnel, calling the strings, calling Mariama, calling the truth. The sound is your weapon, and it buys you time. Isata twists free, her knife flashing, and you run, the scroll in your hands, Khadija shouts behind you. The mines are a maze, but the amulet guides you, its hum a thread through the dark. You emerge into the salt flats, the sun blinding, and find Fatumata, Nia, and Kumba, their faces bloodied but alive. The hunter, the rider, is with them, bound, his face revealed, a man with Idris's sharp features, a descendant like Amadou. Khadija's men pursue, but the strings are ready, their knives a dance of defiance. You clutch the scroll, knowing its truth could end Mariama's reign or save it, and you make a choice, not to sing, but to hide it, to let Mariama rule without its shadow, to fight Khadija's betrayal in secret, as your mother did. The salt flats of Tagaza shimmer like a sea of stars, their white crust crunching beneath your feet as you run. You, Awa, grip the scroll tightly, its brittle papyrus a fragile weight against your chest, its words a secret that could unravel the Mali Empire, Sundiata's bargain with a sorcerer, a truth that names Khadija's ally, and Amadou before her, as heirs to a hidden power. The amulet around your neck hums, its carved wooden bird pulsing with a rhythm that feels like your mother's heartbeat, guiding you through the chaos. Behind you, Khadija's men pursue, their shouts sharp against the desert's silence, their knives gleaming in the midday sun. Fatumata leads the silent strings, Nia, Isata, Kumba, her knife drawn, her face fierce despite the blood streaking her arm. The hunter, the rider with Idris's sharp features, is bound and slung over Nia's shoulder, his eyes burning with defiance. You've escaped the mines, but safety is a mirage, and Khadija's betrayal, a wound deeper than any blade, drives you forward. The flats are unforgiving, their heat a hammer that steals your breath. You stumble, your legs heavy, but Isata catches your arm, her young face set with determination. Keep moving, she whispers, her voice steady despite the fear in her eyes. Fatoumata veers toward a cluster of low dunes, their shadows offering brief cover. You crouch behind them, your chest heaving, the scroll tucked inside your robe. The amulets hum louder now, almost a song. Khadijah's men fan out, their silhouettes dark against the salt's glare, their calls echoing like jackals. Fatoumata's eyes meet yours, her voice low. "We can't outrun them," she says. "Not with him." She nods at the hunter, whose bound hands twitch, as if he's still a threat. Nia's knife hovers near his throat, but her gaze is on the horizon, where dust rises, a sign of more riders approaching. Your mind races, piecing together the fragments of this moment. Khadijah, who stood with you against Amadou, who pushed you to sing Mariama's truth, now hunts you to protect a legacy tied to Idris, the sorcerer whose bargain gave Sundiata his throne. The scroll proves it, naming her as a guardian of that bloodline, a traitor to her own sister. But the amulet, its twin left with Safi's body, its hum guiding you to Tagaza, holds a deeper mystery. It's more than a symbol, more than your mother's keepsake. You clutch it, and a memory surfaces, faint as a desert breeze, your mother's voice, singing not of queens or warriors, but of a bird that carried truths across time, a vessel for the empire's soul. "Fatoumata," you say, your voice hoarse. "What is this amulet? It's not just a mark, is it?" Fatoumata's face tightens, her knife still raised. "Not here," she says, but her eyes betray her, flickering with knowledge she's held back. Nia cuts in, her voice urgent. "They're closing in. We need a plan now." Fatoumata nods, her decision swift. "Isata, Kumba, take the hunter west, toward the caravan trails. Draw them off. Nia and I will get Awa to the Niger. The scroll must reach Mariama, but not like this, not with Khadijah's knives at our backs." Isata hesitates, her hand lingering on yours, but Kumba pulls her away, the hunter stumbling between them. You want to protest, to keep the strings together, but Fatoumata's gaze silences you. "Trust the amulet," she says, her voice soft but firm. "It's kept you this long." The strings split, Isata and Kumba vanishing into the dunes, their footsteps swallowed by the wind. You follow Fatoumata and Nia, your legs burning as you skirt the flats, heading south toward the Niger River, where boats might carry you to Timbuktu. The amulet's hum grows insistent, a melody that weaves through your fear, and you feel your mother's presence, her strength, her sacrifice. Night falls, the stars a blanket above, and you camp in a dry wadi, its banks shielding you from sight. Nia keeps watch, her scarred face lit by moonlight, while Fatoumata kneels beside you, her hands steady as she unwraps a cloth from her robe. Inside is another amulet, a third bird, its carving identical to yours and Safi's. "Your mother made 3, she says, her voice barely audible. "One for her, one for you, one for Safi's mother, her sister. They're not just symbols, Awa. They're keys tied to a ritual Idris left behind, a way to bind or break the Empire's fate." Your breath catches, the scrolls weight heavier now. "Bind or break?" you ask, your voice trembling. Fatoumata's eyes are dark, her words careful. "Idris's bargain gave Sundiata power, but it came with a curse. His line would rule only as long as the truth was hidden. The amulets, carved from a sacred baobab, hold that truth, a song that can renew the Empire's strength or shatter its foundation. Your mother found the ritual in Tagaza, with the scroll. She sang part of it, enough to threaten the court, and they killed her for it. Khadijah knows Awa. She wants the amulets to bind the Empire to Idris's line, to her rule, not Mariama's. The revelation is a storm within you. The amulet isn't just a guide, it's a weapon, a choice, and Khadijah's hunt is for more than your life. She wants the power to reshape the Empire's soul. Before you can ask more, Nia hisses, her knife flashing. Shadows move along the wadi's edge, Khadijah's men, their steps silent but their intent clear. Fatoumata pulls you to your feet, the third amulet tucked back into her robe. "Run," she whispers, and you do, the scroll pressed against your chest, the amulet's song a drumbeat in your veins. Nia faces the men, her knife a blur, buying you time. Fatoumata leads you through the wadi, her breath ragged, her age slowing her steps. You hear shouts, the clash of metal, and then silence, a void that tells you Nia is gone or captured. Your heart twists, but Fatoumata's grip is iron. The river, she says, and you push on, the Niger's dark ribbon glinting in the distance. You reach a small fishing village at dawn, its huts clustered along the riverbank, its boats bobbing in the current. Fatoumata barters with a fisherman, trading a silver bangle for passage to Timbuktu. You board a narrow canoe, the scroll hidden in your robe, the amulets hum now a constant presence, like a second pulse. Fatoumata sits beside you, her face etched with grief for Nia, for the strings left behind. The ritual, you say, your voice low over the water's lap. If I sing it, what happens? Fatoumata's eyes meet yours, heavy with the weight of years. You could strengthen Mariama's reign, bind the empire to her blood, not Idris's. Or you could break it, let the truth of Sundiata's bargain tear the empire apart, start anew. Your mother chose to sing, knowing the cost. You must choose, Awa, but not yet. First, we reach Mariama. The journey down the Niger is a dreamlike blur, the river's rhythm soothing despite the danger. Villages pass, their fires glowing in the dusk, their voices a chorus of life. You think of Mariama, your sister, ruling alone in Timbuktu, unaware of Khadija's betrayal, of the amulet's power. You think of Safi, her Korah broken, her life stolen for a truth she didn't know. And you think of your mother, Aminata, whose songs were a rebellion, whose amulets were a legacy you're only beginning to understand. The fisherman hums a tune, unaware of the scroll in your robe, and you wonder if your voice, once a Grat's pride, can carry this weight without breaking. Timbuktu's minarets appear at sunset, their mud-brick towers golden in the fading light. The city is quieter now, its festival days long past, but tension hums beneath its surface, a whisper of unrest. Fatoumata disguises you as traders, your faces veiled, your steps careful. You slip through the market, past stalls of salt and cloth, toward the king's hall, now Mariama's court. But before you reach it, a hand grabs your arm, pulling you into an alley. You spin, ready to fight, but it's Aissata, her face bloodied, her eyes wide. Kumba's dead, she says, her voice breaking. The hunter escaped. Khadija's here, Awa. She's in the court, with Mariama. Fear grips you, cold as the Niger's depths. Khadija, in the heart of your sister's power, her knife poised to strike. The amulet hums, its song a call to act, and you know the reunion with Mariama will be no gentle homecoming, but a battle for the empire's soul. The alley is a narrow vein of shadow, its mud-brick walls pressing close as if to hold your secrets. You, Awa, stand frozen, Aissata's words ringing in your ears. Khadija's here, with Mariama. The scroll, hidden in your robe, feels like a burning coal, its truth about Sundiata's bargain a threat to the empire's foundation. The amulet around your neck hums, its carved wooden bird a pulse that urges you forward, toward your sister, toward the danger you can't outrun. Fatoumata's face is grim, her knife tucked into her sleeve, her eyes scanning the alley's mouth where the market's clamor spills in. Aissata, bloodied but unbowed, grips your hand, her breath ragged. Kumba's gone, she says again, her voice a wound. I barely escaped. Khadija's men are everywhere. The weight of loss, Safi, Nia, Kumba, settles in your chest, but the amulet's song keeps you steady, a reminder of your mother's strength, of the truth you carry. Fatoumata's voice is low, urgent. We go to the court, she says. Mariama must know now, before Khadija acts. Awa, the scroll and the amulet, they're your weapons. Use them wisely. You nod, though fear coils in your gut. Mariama, your sister, the Sun Queen, rules from a throne you helped her claim, but 5 years have passed, and her letters spoke of strain, of nobles who resent her, of a court fracturing under her rule. Khadija, her sister and your betrayer, is a blade at her heart, guarding a legacy tied to Idris, the sorcerer whose bargain birthed the empire. The amulet's ritual, its power to bind or break Mali's fate, looms like a storm, and you, once a griot, now a silent string, must decide its course. You move through Timbuktu streets, veiled as traders, your steps soft against the dust. The city is a tapestry of sound, merchants haggling, children laughing, the muezzin's call weaving through it all, but beneath it lies attention, a held breath. The king's hall, now Mariama's court, looms ahead, its walls painted with swirling patterns, its gates guarded by warriors in leather armor, their spears glinting in the sunset. Fatoumata whispers to a guard, her words laced with a Graat's charm, and he lets you pass, mistaking you for petitioners. Inside, the hall is vast, its air heavy with frankincense, its cushions filled with nobles whose gold jewelry clinks softly. Mariama sits on a raised throne, her robes the color of dawn, her face older but fierce, her gray eyes scanning the room. Khadija stands beside her, her smile a mask, her hand resting on a dagger hidden in her sleeve. Your heart lurches at the sight of Mariama, your sister, so close yet so distant. You want to run to her, to warn her, but Fatoumata's grip on your arm holds you back. Wait, she murmurs. We need an opening. The court is alive with murmurs, nobles debating trade routes, scholars presenting scrolls, Graats singing of Mariama's glory. You see a new Graat, a young man with a kora, his voice clear but lacking the fire you once carried. The amulet hums, its song louder now, and you feel its pull, not just to Mariama, but to the throne itself, as if the ritual must happen here, in the empire's heart. Aisata's eyes dart to Khadija, who whispers to a noble, her gaze flickering toward the entrance, as if expecting trouble. Fatoumata seizes the moment, stepping forward, her voice cutting through the court's hum. Sun Queen, she calls, her tone bold but respectful. We bring a truth for your ears alone. The nobles fall silent, their eyes narrowing, but Mariama's face shifts, a flicker of recognition as she sees Fatoumata, then you. Khadija stiffens, her hand tightening on her dagger, but she doesn't move, not yet. Mariama rises, her voice calm but commanding. Speak, elder, she says, gesturing to a side chamber. You follow, your heart pounding, the scroll a secret you can't yet reveal. Khadija joins you, her presence a shadow, her smile sharp as a blade. The chamber is small, its walls hung with woven tapestries, its air cool despite the day's heat. Mariama closes the door, her eyes locking on yours. Awa, she says, her voice breaking, and she pulls you into an embrace, her warmth a balm against the years apart. I thought you'd never come. You want to hold her, to tell her everything, but Khadija's presence is a weight, her knife too close. Fatoumata steps forward, her voice steady. Sun Queen, your sister Khadija betrays you, she says, blunt as a hammer. She serves Idris's line, not yours, and she hunts Awa for a truth that could break the empire. Mariama's face hardens, her eyes flicking to Khadija, who laughs, a cold, brittle sound. Truth? Khadija says, her dagger flashing as she draws it. You speak of lies, old woman. Mariama's reign is weak, her blood a scandal. Idris's line is the empire's strength, and I'll protect it. Mariama steps between you, her voice like iron. You'd raise a blade against your own sister? She asks, her hurt raw but her resolve unbroken. Khadija's eyes darken, her voice soft but venomous. For the empire, yes. You're a dream, Mariama, but dreams don't last. She lunges, her dagger aimed at you, but Fatoumata is faster, her knife clashing against Khadija's, the sound a spark in the chamber's quiet. The fight is swift and brutal, Fatoumata's age no match for Khadija's fury. You pull Mariama back, your hands trembling, the scroll slipping to the floor. Aisata leaps into the fray, her knife a blur, but Khadija's skill is deadly, her blade grazing Aisata's arm. You know you must act, not with a weapon, but with the amulet, with the ritual Fatoumata described. You clutch the carved bird, its hum a song now, clear and fierce, and you sing, not a Graat's tale, but the ritual's melody, the one your mother died for. The words are ancient, a blend of Mande and something older, a call to the empire's soul. You sing of binding, of Mariama's blood, of a reign rooted in truth, not Idris's curse. The chamber shifts, the air thickening, the tapestries trembling as if stirred by a wind. Khadija falters, her dagger dropping, her eyes wide with fear. No, she whispers, but the song is stronger, its power flowing through the amulet, through you. Mariama joins you, her voice blending with yours, a harmony of sisters, of queens. Fatoumata and Aissata step back, their knives lowered, their faces awed. The ritual binds the empire to Mariama, not Idris, its curse broken, its strength renewed. Khadija falls to her knees, her fight gone, her betrayal exposed. Mariama's eyes fill with tears, not of triumph, but of loss. "Why, Khadija?" she asks, but Khadija has no answer, her silence a confession. The court bursts in, alerted by the noise, warriors and nobles crowding the chamber. Mariama raises a hand, her voice steady. "My sister betrayed us," she says, "but the empire stands. Our song has bound us to truth." The nobles murmur, some nodding, others wary, but the Grout song outside shifts, echoing your melody, spreading the ritual's power. Khadija is taken away, her fate uncertain, but Mariama's grip on your hand is sure. "Stay," she whispers, but you shake your head, the amulet quiet now, its work done. You are a silent string, your place with the truths that live in shadows, not thrones. You leave Timbuktu at dawn, Fatoumata and Aissata at your side, the scroll burned to ash, its secret safe in the ritual's song. Mariama's reign is stronger, but you know the empire will always teeter, its truths a fragile balance. You carry your mother's amulet, its hum faint but present, a reminder that your story, like hers, is one of sacrifice, of voices that sing when others fall silent. The desert stretches before you, its dunes a lullaby, and you walk on, a silent string, a sister, a griot whose song will never fade. The desert is a cradle of silence, its dunes cradling the dawn's first light, their curves soft as a mother's touch. You, Awa, walk with the steady rhythm of a silent string, your cloak dusted with sand, the amulet around your neck quiet now, its carved wooden bird a sleeping sentinel. Timbuktu fades behind you, its minarets a distant memory, its court alive with Mariama's reign, strengthened by the ritual you sang, a melody that bound the empire to her blood and broke Idris's curse. Fatoumata strides beside you, her gray hair catching the sun, her knife a constant companion. Aissata, young and fierce, follows, her arm bandaged from Khadija's blade, her eyes bright with the resolve of one who's seen death and chosen to fight. You are three now, a remnant of the strings who face Tagaza's minds, but your purpose is unbroken, to guard the truths the empire buries, to ensure no voice like your mother's is silenced again. It's been a month since you left Mariama, your sister, the Sun Queen, her throne secure but her heart heavy with Khadija's betrayal. You carry her last words. "Stay, Awa," like a stone in your chest, but you couldn't remain, not when the silent strings call you to the shadows, to the stories that thrive beyond the court's reach. The amulet, once a humming force, is still, but its weight reminds you of your mother, Aminata, whose ritual you completed, whose death you avenged by exposing the truth of Sundiata's bargain. Yet peace is a fleeting guest in the desert, and as you walk toward Gao, a city of trade and whispers, you feel a prickle of unease, a sense that Idris's legacy, the sorcerer whose pact shaped the empire, lingers like a shadow cast by a dying fire. Your destination is a safe house in Gao, a mud brick hut hidden among the city's sprawl, where the silent strings keep records of truths too dangerous to sing. Fatoumata believes answers lie there, clues to the hunter who killed Safi, who left a carved bird as a taunt, who may still serve Idris's line. The journey is long, the Niger's banks your guide, its waters glinting like a promise of rest. You camp at dusk, the air cool with the scent of river mud and tamarind. Aissata builds a small fire, her hands steady despite her youth, while Fatoumata unrolls a woven mat, her eyes distant. "You're thinking of her," she says, not looking at you. "Aminata. The amulet's quiet, but she's not." You nod, your throat tight. Your mother's presence is a constant, her lullaby's a melody you hear in the wind, her sacrifice a fire that burns in your resolve. A memory surfaces, unbidden, sharp as a blade. You're 6, sitting in a courtyard in Timbuktu, your mother's kora in her lap, its strings singing under her fingers. Her hair is braided with beads, her smile soft but shadowed, as if she knows her time is short. "Awa," she says, her voice a river. "A griot's voice is a bridge, not a crown. It carries others, but it must stand alone. You don't understand, not then, but you feel her love, her urgency, as she presses the amulet into your small hands. Keep this, she whispers, and listen when it sings. The memory fades, but the amulet's weight anchors you, and you wonder if she knew, even then, that you'd face Idris's shadow, that her ritual would be yours to finish. Aisata's voice pulls you back, her tone sharp. Someone's watching, she says, her hand on her knife, her eyes on the riverbank. You follow her gaze, the fire's glow dimming your sight, but you see it, a flicker of movement, a shadow among the reeds. Fatoumata rises, her knife drawn, her voice low. Stay here, she says, but you shake your head, the amulet stirring, its hum faint but growing. You follow her, Aisata at your side, the river's lap a soft counterpoint to your pounding heart. The reeds part, revealing a boy, no older than 12, his eyes wide with fear, his hands clutching a small bundle. Don't hurt me, he says, his voice trembling. I have a message. Fatoumata lowers her knife, but her eyes are wary. Speak, child, she says. The boy hesitates, then hands you the bundle, a cloth wrapped around a clay tablet, its surface etched with a spiral, inverted, like the mark on Safi's body. Your breath catches, the amulets hum louder now, a warning. From Gal, the boy says, his voice barely audible. A man gave it to me, said to find the woman with the bird. He said Idris lives. The words are a chill, a ripple through the night's warmth. Idris, the sorcerer, is centuries dead, but his line, Amadou, Khadija, the hunter, carries his will, and this tablet is a sign they're not done. Fatoumata takes the tablet, her fingers tracing the spiral, her face grim. This is a summons, she says. They know we're coming to Gal. They want the amulet, Awa, and the ritual's power. Aisata's eyes narrow. A trap, she says, but you shake your head, the amulet's song clear now, a melody of defiance. Not just a trap, you say, your voice steady despite the fear. A challenge. They think we'll hide, but we won't. The boy watches, his fear easing, and you see something in his eyes, hope, perhaps, or recognition. Who sent you? You ask softer now. He swallows, his voice small. A man with a scar, like a crescent moon. He said his name was Idris. The name is a spark, igniting memories of Kofi, the scarred man who served Amadou, who died in the festival's chaos. Or so you thought. Could he have survived, or is this a new Idris, a title passed through the sorcerer's line? Fatoumata's face hardens. We go to Gal, she says. But we go ready. The boy, whose name is Musa, joins you, his bundle empty but his story full. He speaks of Gal's unrest, of nobles whispering against Mariama, of a man with a crescent scar rallying traitors to a new cause. The amulet hums, its song weaving through Mouse's words, and you feel your mother's presence, her ritual a bridge you're still crossing. In Gao, the safe house is a haven, its walls lined with scrolls and amulets, its air thick with the scent of ink and wax. The strings records confirm your fear. Idris's descendants are a network, not just Amadou and Khadija, but a hidden order, the Crescent Blades, who guard the sorcerer's bargain and seek to reclaim its power. The tablet is their mark, a call to face them or flee. You choose to face them, not with a Korah, but with the amulet's song, a ritual fragment you've pieced together from your mother's memory. The Crescent Blades gather in Gao's market, their leader, the man with the crescent scar, preaching of a new empire, free of Mariama's weakness. You infiltrate their meeting, disguised as a traitor, the amulet hidden, the scroll's truth in your heart. The leader is not Kofi, but a man named Tariq, his scar a mirror of the tablet's spiral, his eyes sharp with Idris's fire. He speaks of the amulet, of its power to bind the empire to his blood, to undo Mariama's ritual. You step forward, your veil falling, your voice rising in the ritual's song, not to bind, but to break, to sever Idris's hold forever. The market trembles, the air alive with your mother's melody, and Tariq's followers falter, their loyalty cracking. Fatoumata and Aisata fight, their knives a dance, while Musa, brave beyond his years, slips the tablet into the fire, its spiral consumed. Tariq lunges, his blade aimed at you, But the amulet flares, its light a shield, and he falls, his scar darkening as if burned. The crescent blades scatter, their thread broken, but you know others will rise, Idris's shadow too deep to erase. You return to the safe house, the amulet quiet once more, its ritual complete. Fatoumata smiles, a rare softness in her eyes. Your mother would be proud, she says, and you feel it, a warmth that carries you through the grief of those lost. You send word to Mariama, not of the blades, but of your love, your promise to guard her reign from the shadows. The desert calls you back, its silence a lullaby, and you walk on, a silent string, a daughter of queens, your mother's song a light that never fades. The air in Gao is thick with the scent of roasted millet, and the hum of a city settling into dusk. You, Awa, stand in the silent string's safe house, the weight of the amulet around your neck lighter now, its carved wooden bird still but warm, as if it carries the echo of the ritual that broke the crescent blade's hold. The room is small, its walls lined with scrolls and clay tablets, each a fragment of truth the strings have guarded for generations. Fatoumata sits across from you, her hands tracing a new amulet, this one a crescent moon, a symbol of renewal. Aissata tends a small fire, her young face marked by the scars of Gao's battle, her eyes bright with the quiet pride of survival. Musa, the boy who brought the crescent blade's tablet, sleeps in a corner, his small form curled around a borrowed cloak. You've sent word to Mariama, your sister, the Sun Queen, of your love, but not of the blades, not of the danger you've faced. The Empire must see her strength, not its shadows. Yet the desert's silence is a fragile thing, and as you pack for the next journey, to Jen, where the strings hear whispers of unrest, you feel a prickle of unease. The amulet, though quiet, seems to watch, its presence a question you haven't answered. It was your mother's, a key to the ritual that bound and broke Idris's curse, but its origins, its making, remain a mystery. Fatoumata's stories of Aminata, your mother, speak of her courage, her songs, but never of the baobab that formed the amulet, never of why three were carved, nor why they hum with a power that feels older than the empire itself. You touch the bird, its edges smooth from years of worry, and a memory stirs, not yours, but hers, a fragment of a song about a tree that held the stars, a gift from spirits to guard the Monde's soul. Fatoumata notices, her knife pausing. It's speaking again, isn't it? She says, her voice soft but sharp. You nod, hesitant to voice the unease that grows with each passing day. It's not just a key. You say, your voice low, the fires crackle a gentle counterpoint. It's something more, something Idris feared. Why else would his blades hunt it? Fatoumata's eyes darken, her fingers tightening around the crescent amulet. There's a story, she says, one the strings keep only in whispers. The baobab that birthed your amulet wasn't just sacred, it was alive, a spirit's home, planted before Sundiata, before Idris, by a woman who spoke to the stars. Aminata found it, in a grove near Jen, and carved the birds to hold its power, to protect the empire from itself. But the story says the birds must return, or the spirit will wake, and the empire will pay. The words are a chill, a ripple through the safe house's warmth. A living baobab, a spirit's home? Your mother's amulets, then, are not just relics but a pact, a balance you've disrupted by using their ritual. You think of Safi's amulet, lost to the hunter, of the third, held by Fatoumata, and wonder if their power is a gift or a curse. Aissata looks up, her fire forgotten, her voice tense. Return where? She asks. Fatoumata's smile is grim. To the grove, she says. To Jen. If the spirit wakes, it won't distinguish between Mariama's reign and Idris's shadow. It will judge us all. Your heart quickens, the amulet stirring, its hum faint but insistent, as if it knows the grove, as if it calls you home. The journey to Jen is swift, driven by the amulet's pull and the whispers from the string's network. Unrest in the city, nobles rallying against Mariama, claiming her rule defies tradition. You travel by river, the Niger's current a steady guide, its waters reflecting a sky heavy with clouds. Musa stays with you, his small hands deft at tying knots, his stories of Gao's streets alight in the journey's weight. Fatoumata teaches him the string's codes, her patience a contrast to her urgency, while Aissata watches the banks, her knife never far. You clutch the amulet, its hum growing, and dream of your mother, her voice clearer now, singing of a grove where the stars fell, where a bird carried her heart to the sky. You wake with tears, the scroll's ashes a memory, the empire's fate a burden you share with Mariama, though she doesn't know it. Jen greets you with its mosques, their mud brick spires rising like sentinels, their courtyards alive with scholars and traders. The city is tense, its markets quieter than they should be, its air thick with the scent of unrest and jasmine. The string safe house is a rooftop room, hidden above a weaver's shop, its view of the great mosque a reminder of the empire's glory and its fragility. A message waits, smuggled from Timbuktu. Mariama is coming to Jen, to quell the noble's rebellion with her presence, to prove her strength. Your heart leaps, she's near, your sister, the Sun Queen, but fear follows. The noble's unrest, the amulet's hum, the spirit's threat, they're connected, a web you haven't fully seen. Fatoumata leads you to the grove at midnight, a cluster of baobabs on Jen's edge, their branches twisted like arms reaching for the stars. The amulet sings now, its melody a chorus, and you feel your mother, not as memory but as presence, her voice guiding your steps. The grove is alive, the air heavy with the scent of earth and something older, something that watches. Fatoumata holds the third amulet, Aissata her knife, and you kneel before the largest baobab, its trunk scarred with ancient carvings, its roots pulsing with the hum of your bird. Return them, Fatoumata says, her voice a ritual's cadence, and ask forgiveness. You hesitate, the amulet your last tie to your mother, but the empire's weight, Mariama's reign, the noble's unrest, presses you forward. You place the bird in a hollow of the tree, Fatoumata adds hers, and the grove trembles, the stars above flickering as if in answer. A voice speaks, not your mother's, but deeper, a spirit's whisper that shakes the earth. The birds were borrowed, it says, to guard, not to bind. Your song broke the balance, daughter of Aminata. The empire must choose, truth or ruin. The words are a judgment, and you see it now. The ritual strengthened Mariama but woke the spirit, fueling the noble's unrest, drawing Idris's shadow back. You plead, your voice raw. Let her rule. Let the truth live. The spirit's laughter is a wind, sharp and cold. Truth lives in sacrifice, it says, as your mother knew. The grove stills, the amulet's gone, swallowed by the tree, and you feel a void where their home once was, a loss that mirrors your mother's death. You return to Jen, the spirit's words await, and find Mariama in the great mosque, her court assembled, her face weary but resolute. The nobles kneel, their rebellion quelled by her presence, but you see the strain, the cost of her crown. She embraces you, her whisper fierce. I needed you, Awa, and you came. You tell her of the grove, the spirit, the sacrifice, and her eyes darken, not with anger, but with understanding. We're sisters, she says, and we'll carry this together. You stay, not as a griot, but as a silent string, guarding the empire's shadows while Mariama holds its light. The nobles watch, the spirit waits, and you know the truth will demand more, but for now, you stand with your sister, the desert's lullaby a promise of peace, however fleeting. The great mosque of Jen is a haven of shadow and light, its mud brick pillars casting patterns that dance like whispered secrets. You, Awa, stand beside Mariama, your sister, the Sun Queen, her presence a beacon in the crowded hall. Her robes shimmer with gold thread, but her gray eyes carry the weight of a throne tested by nobles' unrest and the baobab's spirit's cryptic judgment, truth or ruin. The amulets are gone, returned to the grove, their hum silenced, but their absence is a void in your heart, a reminder of your mother, Aminata, whose sacrifice you've mirrored. The nobles kneel before Mariama, their rebellion quelled by her resolve, but you see the flickers of doubt in their eyes, the whispers that linger like dust in the air. Fatoumata and Aissata stand at the hall's edge, their faces guarded, their knives hidden but ready. You are a silent string, no longer a griot, yet your voice, silent now, carries the empire's fate, a truth you've bound to Mariama's reign but cannot fully control. The air in Jen is heavy, not just with the scent of clay and incense, but with a tension that hums like a storm beyond the horizon. You feel it in the market, where traders speak in hushed tones of failing crops, of wells drying in villages along the Niger. You hear it in the scholars' debates, their voices sharp with fear of omens. A star falling in the north, a calf born with two heads. The baobab spirit's warning echoes in your mind, its laughter a wind that chills you even in the midday heat. Truth lives in sacrifice, it said, and you wonder what more it demands, what price the empire must pay for the ritual that broke Idris's curse. Mariama senses it too, her hand lingering on yours as the court disperses, her voice low. Something's coming, Awa, she says. The nobles are quiet, but the land isn't. Stay close. You nod, your heart a tangle of love and fear, knowing your place is with her, but also with the strings, in the shadows where truths are kept. That night, in a small room above the weaver's shop, the silent strings gather. Fatoumata unrolls a map of the empire, its edges worn, its lines tracing the Niger's curve, the salt roads to Tagaza, the trade routes to Gao. Aissata lights a lamp, its flame casting her scars in sharp relief, her youth a contrast to the weight she carries. Musa, the boy who joined you in Gao, sits cross-legged, his eyes wide as he listens, his small hands clutching a clay tablet he's begun to carve, a spiral of his own. The reports are clear, Fatoumata says, her voice steady but grave. The land is sick, fields barren in Walata, rivers low in Timbuktu, herds dying in the south. The people blame Mariama, say her reign angers the spirits. The nobles fuel it, spreading tales of a curse. Your breath catches, the baobab's words ringing, the empire must choose. Aissata's voice is sharp. It's no curse, she says. It's sabotage. Traders speak of poisoned wells, of grain stores burned. Someone's stirring the land against her. You think of Idris's shadow, the crescent blades you scattered in Gao, their leader Tariq fallen but his network vast. Could they be behind this, a new leader rising to reclaim the sorcerer's legacy? Or is the baobab spirit itself acting, its balance disrupted by your ritual, its judgment now a blight on the empire? Fatoumata's eyes meet yours, her fingers tracing the map's edge. There's more, she says. A string in Walata found a shrine, hidden in a cave, dedicated to Idris. Not the sorcerer, but a spirit, a twin to the baobab's power. The amulets weren't just keys, Awa. They were a pact between two spirits, one of light, one of shadow. Your mother broke it, and we woke them both. The revelation is a stone in your chest, heavy with the weight of your mother's choice and your own. The baobab spirit, a guardian of light, gave the amulets their power to protect the empire, but Idris's spirit, a shadow tied to his sorcery, opposed it, fueling his descendants' ambition. Your ritual strengthened Mariama but angered Idris's spirit, and now the land suffers, a reckoning for truths too long buried. You touch the place where the amulet once hung, its absence a wound, and a memory surfaces, your mother, not singing, but praying, her hands cupped around the carved bird, her lips moving in a language you didn't know. Was she speaking to the baobab, or to Idris, begging forgiveness for a pact she couldn't keep? We need to find the shrine. You say, your voice steady despite the fear. If Idris's spirit is waking, we stop it, or Mariama's reign falls. Fatoumata nods, but her eyes are wary. It's not just the shrine, she says. The nobles are meeting in secret, led by a man called Diallo, a merchant with ties to the north. He claims Mariama's blood is tainted, that a new ruler, a descendant of Idris, must rise. The people listen, Awa, because the land is dying. Your heart lurches, the empire's fragility a mirror to your own. Mariama's strength is in her truth, but truth is a fragile shield against hunger, against fear. The journey to Walata is perilous, the Niger's waters low, forcing you to travel by foot through dunes that shift like treacherous streams. Musa stays in Jinn, safe with the weaver, but his tablet, a spiral of hope, rests in your pack, a reminder of the future you fight for. Fatoumata and Aissata are your shadows, their knives a quiet promise, but the desert feels alive, its winds carrying whispers of Idris's name. You camp in a wadi, its dry bed a stark warning of the empire's plight, and dream of the baobab grove, the spirit's voice softer now, but urgent. The shadow grows, it says, because you chose truth over balance. Find the shrine, daughter, or lose all. You wake, the stars above Wallata bright but cold, and know the shrine is near. Wallata's caves are a labyrinth, their walls etched with symbols, spirals, birds, crescents, that hum with the same power as your amulet once did. Fatoumata lights a torch, its flame casting shadows that dance like Idris's spirit, mocking your steps. Isata finds the shrine, a small chamber where a stone altar holds a clay figure, a man with eyes of obsidian, surrounded by offerings of salt and blood. The air is thick, oppressive, and you feel Idris's presence, a shadow that presses against your mind. Destroy it, Isata says, her knife raised, but Fatoumata stops her, her voice low. Not yet, she says. We need the ritual, the one Aminata didn't finish. You search the altar, finding a scroll, its ink fresh, its words a chant to wake Idris's spirit fully, to curse the land until his line rules. The chant is a mirror to your mother's ritual, but darker, its words a blade to the empire's heart. You know what you must do, not destroy but counter, with a song of light, of the baobab's truth. You sing, your voice raw, no Korah to guide you, but the cave amplifies it, the symbols glowing as the baobab's spirit joins you, its light clashing with Idris's shadow. The altar cracks, the figure crumbling, but the ground shakes, a warning that the balance is fragile. Fatoumata pulls you back, Isata's torch flickering, and you flee as the cave collapses, the scroll clutched in your hands, its chant unfinished but its power broken. You return to Jen, the land still sick but stirring, as if the baobab's light fights Idris's curse. Mariama greets you in the mosque, her face worn but hopeful, the nobles subdued by news of rains in the south. You've done it again, Awa, she says, her embrace fierce, but you shake your head, the scroll's weight a reminder of the cost. Not alone, you say, thinking of Fatoumata Isata, your mother. You give her the scroll, its chant a warning of Idris's lingering shadow, and choose to stay, not as a courtier, but as a silent string, guarding the empire's truths while Mariama heals its wounds. The desert sings outside, a lullaby of stars and sand, and you rest, knowing the spirit's reckoning is paused, but never gone. The dawn in Jen is a gentle promise, its light filtering through the great mosque's arches, painting the mud-brick walls with gold. You, Awa, stand in the courtyard, the air cool with the scent of wet clay and tamarind, your heart steady but heavy. Mariama, your sister, the Sun Queen, rules from the hall nearby, her throne a beacon of hope, but the empire trembles, its fields still sparse, its rivers low, a lingering echo of Idris's curse and the baobab's spirit's warning, truth or ruin. The scroll you took from Wallata's shrine, its chant to wake Idris's spirit, lies burned, its ashes scattered, but its shadow lingers in the noble's whispers, in the unrest that festers like a wound. Fatoumata and Isata are your anchors, their presence a reminder of the silent strings vowed to guard the empire's truths, even as you stand closer to Mariama's light than ever before. You are no longer the griot who sang in Timbuktu Square, nor the girl who carried an amulet's hum. The carved wooden bird is gone, returned to the baobab grove, its ritual complete, but your mother's legacy, Aminata's songs, her sacrifice, lives in you, a melody you feel in the quiet moments. Mariama leans on you now, not as a courtier, but as a sister, her council chamber filled with your whispered truths, your warnings of the land's sickness, of the noble's unease. Yet the name Diallo, the merchant stirring rebellion, haunts you, a thread you can't untangle. Fatoumata spoke of him in Jen, a man with northern ties, claiming Mariama's blood is tainted, rallying traitors and nobles to a new ruler, one tied to Idris's line. The baobab's judgment looms, and you fear Diallo as its instrument, a spark to the empire's dry tinder. The string's safe house, above the weaver's shop, is your refuge, its rooftop a place of stars and secrets. Fatoumata unrolls a new map, its edges marked with reports from strings across the empire, poisoned wells in Gao, burned fields in Wallata, rumors of a merchant's gold-buying warrior's loyalty. Isata sharpens her knife, her scarred face tense, her voice low. Diallo's not just a merchant, she says, her eyes on the map. He's organized, like the crescent blades, but bolder. He's building an army, Awa, and the people follow because they're hungry. Fatoumata nods, her fingers tracing a spiral on the map, a symbol you've seen too often, Safi's body, the wall at a shrine, the amulet's warning. He's in Sigu, she says. A city loyal to Mariama, but wavering. If he sways them, the empire splits. Your heart quickens, Sigu's name stirring a memory, faint but sharp. You were a child, training under Jelly Kaba, your Korah clumsy in your hands, when a merchant visited Timbuktu, his robes heavy with gold, his voice smooth but cold. He spoke to Kaba, his words lost to you, but his eyes lingered not on your Korah, but on your mother's amulet, the bird you wore even then. Was that Diallo? Did he know your mother, her ritual, her truth? You voiced the memory, your words halting, and Fatumata's face shifts, her eyes narrowing. Diallo was no merchant then, she says, her voice low, heavy with the truth she's held back. He was a griot, Awa, trained with your mother under the same master. He loved her, but he chose Idris's path, swore to his spirit when Aminata chose the baobab. He's not just rebelling, he's avenging her, in his own twisted way. The revelation is a blade, cutting through the safe house's quiet. Diallo a griot? Your mother's peer, her lover, now a merchant wielding Idris's shadow against Mariama? You see it now, his gold, his influence, his spirals, all a griot's craft, weaving stories to sway the empire, just as you once did. The baobab's judgment, the land's sickness, Diallo's rebellion, they're woven together, a spiral you must break. We go to Sigu. You say, your voice steady despite the weight. We stop him, not with knives, but with truth. Fatumata nods, but Aisata's eyes are wary. He knows you, Awa, she says. Your mother's daughter, Mariama's sister. He'll expect you. The warning chills you, but the memory of your mother's song, a griot's voice is a bridge, drives you forward. Siga is a city of rivers and ambition, its markets alive with the clink of gold and the shout of traders, its air thick with the scent of fish and dust. You arrive disguised as weavers, your faces veiled, your steps soft against the earth. The strings network whispers of Diallo's camp, a compound on the city's edge, guarded by warriors whose spears bear spiral marks. Mariama's banners fly in Siga's center, but they're faded, her grip weakening as Diallo's promises, of food, of strength, sway the hungry. You infiltrate the market, listening to traders' tales, Diallo's miracles, wells that flow where his men pray, fields that green under his touch. It's Idris's spirit, you realize, not broken but redirected, fueling Diallo's rebellion with a power you thought you'd ended. The compound is a fortress of wealth, its walls hung with silk, its courtyard filled with warriors and nobles, their eyes alight with Diallo's vision. You slip inside, Fatumata and Aisata at your sides, your weaver's guise a fragile shield. Diallo stands at the center, older than you remember, his robes heavy with gold, his face lined but fierce, a crescent scar on his cheek, a mark you missed as a child, a twin to Tariq's. He's no mere griot, but a vessel for Idris's spirit, his voice a song that sways hearts. The Sun Queen fails you, he says, his words a melody you know too well. Her blood is weak, her truth a lie. I bring Idris's strength, the Empire's true heart. The crowd cheers, but you see the spirals carved on their amulets, the shadow in their eyes. You step forward, your veil falling, your voice rising, not in song, but in challenge, a griot's truth against his lies. Diallo, you call, the courtyard stilling. You twist my mother's legacy. Aminata chose the baobab, not Idris. Your rebellion poisons the land, not Mariama's rule. His eyes lock on yours, recognition flaring, and you see not just anger, but pain, a griot's heart broken by love and loss. Awa, he says, his voice soft but deadly. You carry her face, but not her wisdom. She died for a truth I'll finish. He raises a hand, and warriors close in, their spears a forest of death, but Fatumata's knife flashes, Aisata's follows, and you speak, your words a ritual's echo, calling the baobab's light to counter Idris's shadow. The courtyard trembles, the air alive with your mother's melody, the baobab's spirit clashing with Diallo's power. Warriors falter, their spirals dimming, but Diallo sings, his griot's voice a dark mirror to yours, fueling Idris's curse. The land shakes, a crack splitting the compound's earth, a warning of the spirit's judgment. You push forward, your voice breaking but unbroken, and Mariama's banner rises behind you. She's here, her warriors storming the compound, her presence a light that tips the balance. Diallo falls, his scar darkening, his songs silenced, and the crowd kneels, not to him, but to the Sun Queen, their faith restored by your truth. You embrace Mariama, her tears mingling with yours, the Empire's wounds raw but healing. Diallo's fate is exile, his Graat's heart a warning of truths twisted by love. You remain in Sigu, a silent string weaving Mariama's light into the Empire's shadows, the baobab's judgment eased but watching. The desert sings, a lullaby of rivers and stars, and you rest, your mother's bridge your strength, your sister's love your home. The river in Sigu murmurs softly, its waters catching the moonlight like a scattering of stars. You, Awa, stand on its bank, the city's hum a distant lullaby, its mud-brick houses glowing faintly under the night sky. Mariama, your sister, the Sun Queen, rests in the governor's hall, her presence a balm to Sigu's wounds after Diallo's rebellion. The merchant Graat's exile has quieted the nobles, but the Empire's pulse is weak, its fields slow to recover, its people whispering of spirits angered by a woman's throne. The baobab spirit's judgment, truth or ruin, hangs over you, a weight heavier than the amulet you no longer wear. Fatoumata and Aissata are nearby, their silhouettes sharp against the river's glow, their knives a silent vow to protect the truths you fought for as a silent string. Yet your heart is restless, the memory of your mother, Aminata, and Jeli Kaba, your master, stirring like a song you can't finish. The air shifts, a cool breeze carrying the scent of tamarind and something sharper, like iron or blood. Aissata tenses, her hand on her knife, her scarred face alert. Someone's here, she whispers, her eyes scanning the reeds. Fatoumata steps closer, her gray hair catching the moonlight, her voice low. Show yourself, she calls, her tone a Graat's command. The reeds part, and a figure emerges, a woman, her robes dark as the river, her face half hidden by a scarf, her hands empty but her presence heavy, like the baobab grove's spirit. She carries a staff, its tip carved with a spiral, not inverted, but whole, a symbol you've seen in the string's records, a mark of balance. I seek Awa, she says, her voice smooth but edged. Daughter of Aminata, breaker of Idris's curse. Your breath catches, the mention of your mother a spark in the night. You step forward, your hand brushing the place where the amulet once hung, its absence a reminder of your sacrifice. Who are you? You ask, your voice steady despite the unease. The woman lowers her scarf, revealing a face older than yours, lined with wisdom and grief, her eyes sharp like Jeli Kaba's, a resemblance that twists your heart. I am Nene, she says, daughter of Kaba, keeper of his truths. I come not to fight, but to warn. Idris's heir walks the empire, not a descendant, but a vessel, chosen by his spirit to claim what you broke. The land's sickness is their work, and Sigu is their target. The revelation is a storm, Nene's words weaving past and present into a knot you can't untangle. Jeli Kaba's daughter? Your master, who died saving you, whose betrayal and redemption shaped your path, had a daughter, hidden from you, from the court? Fatoumata's face hardens, her knife half-drawn. Kaba served the empire, then Awa, she says, her voice cold. Why should we trust his blood now? Nene's eyes flicker, not with anger, but sorrow. My father taught me the Graat's way, she says, but also the spirit's truth. He knew the baobab and Idris were twinned, their pact older than Sundiata. When Awa sang the ritual, she woke both, and Idris's spirit chose a new heir, one who wears Kaba's face but not his heart. Your mind races, the memory of Kaba's final moments. Finish it, clashing with Nene's warning. A vessel wearing his face? You think of the crescent scars of Tariq Diallo, the hunters who served Idris's shadow, and wonder if this heir is another Graat, another betrayal. Where are they? You ask, your voice raw. Nene points north, toward the desert beyond Siga. A camp, hidden in the dunes, where the land's poison is brewed, herbs to blight crops, salts to choke wells. They call themselves the Starborn, led by a man who claims Kaba's name, who says Mariama's reign steals the empire's soul. Aissata's knife flashes, her voice sharp. A trap, she says, but you shake your head, the baobab's judgment a call you can't ignore. You bring Nene to Mariama, the governor's hall quiet but tense, its guards loyal but weary. Your sister listens, her face a mask of resolve, her hand gripping yours as Nene speaks. If this heir lives, Mariama says, her voice steady, they threaten not just my throne, but the empire's heart. Awa, will you face them? You nod, the weight of her trust, of your mother's legacy, anchoring you. Fatoumata and Aissata prepare, their knives sharpened, while Nene offers a scroll, its ink faded, Kaba's handwriting detailing a ritual to banish Idris's spirit forever. A counterpart to your mother's song, one he never shared. He died for you, Nene says, her eyes meeting yours. But he lived for this. The desert camp is a shadow in the dunes, its tents marked with spirals, its air thick with the scent of bitter herbs. You infiltrate at dawn, disguised as traitors, Nene at your side, her staff a guide through the starborn's ranks. The heir stands at the center, a man with Kaba's eyes but a stranger's cruelty, his voice weaving Idris's lies, his hands mixing poisons for the empire's rivers. You sing, not with a kora, but with Kaba's ritual, its words a light that burns Idris's shadow, the baobab's spirit joining you, its judgment softened by your truth. The starborn falter, their poison spilled, their heir kneeling, his face revealed, not Kaba's son, but a pretender, a griot twisted by Idris's will. Mariama's warriors storm the camp, her banner a beacon, and the starborn scatter, their thread broken. You embrace your sister, the land stirring with new rains, the baobab's light stronger now. Nene stays, a silent string in training, her father's scroll your guide. You remain in Sigu, guarding Mariama's reign, your mother's song a lullaby that carries you to peace, the empire's truth your home. The dawn over Sigu is a tapestry of gold and rose, its light spilling across the Niger's waters, turning the river into a mirror of the sky. You, Awa, stand on the riverbank, the city waking behind you, its markets stirring with the hum of traders and the laughter of children. The empire breathes easier now, its fields greening with new rains, its wells filling, a tentative answer to the baobab spirit's judgment. Mariama, your sister, the Sun Queen, rules from the governor's hall, her throne no longer a battleground but a beacon, her reign strengthened by the defeat of the starborn and the banishment of Idris's shadow. The amulet you once wore, the carved wooden bird, is gone, its power returned to the baobab grove, but its memory lives in you, a melody woven with your mother's voice, Aminata's songs of truth and sacrifice. Fatoumata and Aissata are your constants, their presence a reminder of the silent strings vowed to guard the empire's secrets. Nene, Jelly Kaba's daughter, has joined you, her staff a quiet tribute to her father's redemption, her eyes carrying his wisdom and your mother's fire. The starborn's camp is ash, their poisons cleansed, their pretender, he who wore Kaba's face, exiled to the desert, his spirals erased by the baobab's light. Yet the spirit's words, truth lives in sacrifice, linger, a whisper that keeps you vigilant, a reminder that the empire's balance is fragile, its heart tied to the truths you've fought to protect. You are no longer a griot, no longer a queen's daughter in name, but Awa, a silent string whose voice, though silent, shapes the empire's soul. The morning brings a summons from Mariama, her message urgent but warm, written in her own hand, come, sister. The land speaks, and we must listen. You find her in the hall, not on her throne, but among her council, scholars with ink-stained fingers, griots with chorus humming, nobles whose eyes no longer flicker with doubt. The room is alive with the scent of frankincense and the soft clink of gold, but Mariama's presence is its heart, her gray eyes bright with resolve, her smile a mirror of the girl you knew in Timbuktu's shadows. She embraces you, her touch grounding you, and speaks of the land's healing, rains in Walata, harvests in Gao, rivers swelling in Jen, but also of a new sign, a baobab blooming in Sigu's outskirts, its flowers white as stars, a sight unseen in generations. The people call it a blessing, Mariama says, her voice soft but clear. But the griots say it's the spirit's call, a final reckoning. Your heart quickens, the baobab's judgment a thread you thought you tied. Fatoumata, standing beside you, nods, her crescent amulet glinting. The grove in Jen woke when you returned the amulets, she says. This bloom is its answer, awa, a chance to seal the balance, or a warning of what's left undone. Nene steps forward, her scroll, Kaba's ritual, clutched in her hands. My father wrote of a final song, she says, her voice steady. Not to bind or break, but to harmonize, to let the baobab and Idris rest. It needs two voices, Awa, yours and Mariama's sisters of truth. The words stir a memory, faint but vivid, your mother, Aminata, singing to you and Mariama, though you didn't know her then, her kora weaving a melody that felt like the stars themselves. You were too young to understand, but the song was this, a harmony of light and shadow, a bridge for the empire's soul. You look at Mariama, her eyes mirroring your own resolve, and know this is the sacrifice the baobab demands, not blood, but unity, a song to heal what your rituals woke. We'll sing. You say, your voice a vow, and Mariama nods, her hand finding yours, a bond forged in Timbuktu's fires and Siga's rains. The baobab stands alone, its branches heavy with white blossoms, their scent sweet and ancient, like the grove in Jen. The people gather, not as a court, but as a family, traders, farmers, children, their faces alight with hope, their whispers hushed by the tree's presence. Fatumata, Aisata, and Nene stand guard, their knives sheathed, their eyes soft with pride. You and Mariama kneel before the baobab, no kora, no amulet, only your voices, the scroll's words a guide. The song is simple, its melody your mother's lullaby, its words a prayer for balance, for the baobab's light to cradle Idris's shadow, for the empire to thrive on truth, not curses. You sing of sisters, of queens and grats, of a land that bends but does not break. The air shimmers, the blossoms glowing, and you feel the baobab spirit, not as judgment, but as love, its light weaving through your song. Idris's shadow stirs, a faint echo in the wind, but it softens, harmonized, its curse dissolved in the empire's heart. The people join you, their voices a chorus, not of grats, but of Mali itself, Mandinka, Songhai, Fulani, their differences a strength, their unity a shield. The baobab's blossoms fall, a gentle rain, and the land hums, its rivers swelling, its fields promising green. Mariama's hand tightens on yours, her tears a mirror of your own, and you know the spirit's reckoning is done, its balance sealed. Years pass, and the empire grows, Mariama's reign a golden age, her schools and mosques a testament to truth's power. You remain a silent string, moving between cities, your home the desert's edge, your family Fatumata, Aisata, Nene, and the strings who carry your mother's vow. You teach Musa, now a young man, the codes of the strings, his spiral tablet a symbol of hope. The baobab in Siga blooms each year, its flowers a reminder of the song you and Mariama sang, a story whispered by Grats who don't know your name. You visit Timbuktu, the Sankor mosque where your kora rests, its strings silent but its spirit alive, and you smile, knowing your mother's bridge, a Grat's voice carries others, is complete. One night, in a camp under the desert stars, you lie on a woven mat, the Nigers murmur a lullaby, the baobabs light a warmth in your heart. Fatumata is gone, her crescent amulet passed to Aisata, who guards the strings with Nene's wisdom. Mariama writes, her letters full of love, her throne secure, her children learning the songs you sang. You close your eyes, the stars singing your mother's melody, and drift to sleep, your story woven into the empire's heart, a truth that never fades, a peace that holds you like a cradle.